What is up? What is up? Hi, everyone. I'm George Mossey. This is the George Mossey Show. I'm waiting for Kara and DeeDee to join. We watched Before the 90 Days. We're on episode 11, so we have a lot to talk about. Oh, Kara's here. JoJo's here. DeeDee's here. Hello, everybody. Tonight is also a special sneak peek. Hello, Geek in the Kitchen. You're from Canada. Hello, my fellow Canadian. I love Canada. There's a bonus of the, what do you call it? The Last Resort tonight. I'm gonna watch the premiere because I'm excited for that. Kara and DeeDee are here. Hi, guys. Pris Pix. Did I get it right this time? Because I've been saying it wrong for like a really long time. Hey.
Hi.
How are you? Wait, where did Kara go? I accepted Kara and now I don't see her.
Oh, Lord. Is she having trouble?
I think because she requested and I said yes, and now I don't see her, so she'll probably join in a second. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm just having a bad hair day today, but other than that, I'm doing good.
Oh, I mean, that's bad hair. It could be way worse. You know, it was 98 degrees today, and it's been like between 96 and 100 for like the past week, so I'm not okay with it. Like, honestly, I want it to just cool down. I don't want to say cold, but just cool down a little bit because it's just, oh God, I can't.
Friday, it got up to 103 here.
Oh, see, no, that's not okay.
Hi.
There you are. You were here a second ago, right?
I was here. I watched the whole thing when you said you couldn't find me and everything.
Yeah, you requested, I accepted, and then you weren't there. And I'm like, okay. All right, so this episode, we didn't get, what's her name? Help me out. We didn't get Misha and Nicola. And who else? We didn't get somebody else, too.
Riley and Violet.
Yeah, Riley and Violet.
Yeah.
And apparently, Riley isn't back home. He's still trying, which I think is crazy to me because the way that he spoke to her and he was like, bye, get out of my face, I'm sick of you. I assumed that was it. So apparently they're going to keep trying and beating this dead horse. There's not much left there, you know, but we're going to watch that. But this episode, I was really happy with Cleo and how she handled things. Yeah. I don't want to start there. I want to start with Tyree because we met the real Carmela. And she's a very beautiful young woman, so I understand his attraction to her, but he was acting super weird and creepy the whole time because he was like staring at her and googly-eyed her. And I was like, you do realize that this isn't who you've been talking to. And then he almost hit on her. Like, was he hitting on her? I don't know. I haven't been like dating in a while or anything, but he was hitting on her, right?
Yeah.
He was trying. She was trying.
She was suspicious.
Okay, so you felt that too. You felt that she was acting really sus. Okay, so
yeah.
I felt that her actions and demeanor was suspect. And when he actually asked her about it, she had this weird look on her face. Yeah. Like she was thinking about what to say. Like if you ask me if I'm in on some sort of horrible conspiracy, I don't have to think about it. I'm going to say, no, I'm not in on this horrible conspiracy. But the way that she orchestrated her response, I just got a weird vibe.
Yeah.
And
me too.
Why didn't she get upset, or why didn't she ask to see the? I'm sorry, guys, my hair is bothering me tonight.
You look beautiful.
Why didn't she get upset, or why didn't she even ask to see the messages that they had back and forth? I mean, and then did you notice that she couldn't even look in his eyes, look at his face whenever she was asking, or whenever he was asking those questions? I mean, she's totally in it. I don't care what anybody says. She had something to do with it. Because if I met someone and I found out that someone else was using my identity, my name, my pictures, you best want to bet I'm going to want to see everything, and I would make a police report right then and there.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, because some of the pictures they were using were pretty risque. So like, you don't want pictures like that being shuffled around the internet without your permission, you know, without you being the one passing them along. It was really suspect, everything about it. And then when he asked her and the response she gave, I don't know, just her whole demeanor about it, it makes me wonder if this is the end of Tyree's story, or do you think maybe he will actually want to talk to Christian? Somebody might actually give something away. Or do you think, Kara, you're saying no, you think nobody's going to give it away?
It's done.
So you think there's no more, there's nothing to be done here because no one's going to come clean, right? Because if this is a really good scam and they've been scamming people for years, why would you end the scam, right? Like, why would you admit to it?
She scammed him all along, and now, I mean, she got the little bits of money from him. Now she got the TLC money. Now all she has to do is stay his friend, and she still got the money. So it's over.
Yeah, and she told him that they could hang out. That's all he wanted right there. But so
I don't think that she really wants to hang out
with
him. You know how people say things to be nice? Because he's like, oh, you think we could hang out? She said yes. I felt like right after she left and got in the Uber, she like blocked him. Like, I don't feel like that's really what she meant. I just feel like she was being nice. The cameras were there. They're going to portray her a certain way. This is going to help her notoriety because we know that she does different things online that she could, you know, benefit from being on a television show. And I'm pretty sure TLC, even if you're on one episode, the payment is like $1,000. You know, like, it's not terrible. And then the residual of your face being recognized everywhere, that's going to help her a lot too. So I think that Portuguese Princess said it best. She's like, there's something sketch. But actually, do you feel like it was sketch about Tyree too? Because I saw some talk on Twitter online, and they were like, Tyree is acting kind of sketch too. Like, did you feel that vibe too, or do you think that he's just really naive?
I don't know. I'm so torn on how to feel about Tyree. In the very beginning, like, this poor guy, I'm so sad that he's got such a broken heart. I felt so bad for him. And then as it went on, I'm like, you can't really think this is happening. Like, the producers have the text messages and the voicemails, and you can see it all and you can hear it all. And to our knowledge, he hasn't done either.
No.
Like, I want to hear that shit. I would want to read that shit, and I would want to meet with his dick and let DeeDee punch him in the face.
Well, that was another thing. If
I would do it too.
If you sent somebody all this money and they've been catfishing you, and then you have a TLC has a communication. They have a open communication. Hey, Judy. Hey, Molly. To this person, I would want to confront that person. It's going to be a controlled environment. If I don't want to hear them say like, oh, well, I don't know what they would do, whatever. TLC would be present. There would be cameras. There would be security. There would be production. This would be in a public place. I would want to discuss this situation with the person who has been stealing from me and lying to me for all this time. And that was an open opportunity. So everyone is like, this is suspect, because the way that he doesn't want to handle what happened and he doesn't want to confront it. And then he goes and shows up and he starts hitting on Carmela. They're like, this is super suspect to me.
Yeah. I think that can we still be friends? Do you want to be friends? Do you want to, whatever the hell he said. And she's like, yeah. Well, yeah, she still wants to be friends because she either is Christian or she's friends with Christian or whatever. She's still getting money from him. No matter what, she's going to get money from him because he's got false hopes and he's naive.
Well, if she does stay in touch with him, let's say that they were scamming him and it was all, you know, orchestrated. If she does stay in touch with him, now she can scam him as herself.
Yeah.
Like, because it won't be hard. He is so easy to manipulate and so naive. He brought her a present.
Hey, Molly.
I don't know. I felt like this story was the lead up and I felt like we were let down. Like, this part of it, I was just like, oh my God, hey, Coast to Coast teacher. I felt like this was not what I was expecting, because this technically might be the last we see of him, because this was the end of the story. Because in the first episode, they showed him waiting in the bar, waiting to meet Carmela, and we saw that was what they were leading up to. So I was like, what a letdown, right? I felt like I was expecting a little more information. I thought it was going to be like a catfish episode where we met the catfish, we figured out what the scam was, and everybody went home knowing more information than when they left with. But I don't feel like we got that.
I'm so mad that they drug it out through the whole freaking season for that little combustion that was nothing.
yeah, we're on episode 11, and this started on episode 1. They started right in the beginning, and he's only been on probably 5 or 6 episodes. They just left him off because there wasn't anything to work with.
Yeah.
And it was just a letdown story for me, and I think that there's more to it that we'll probably never hear. It'll never come to the light.
Yeah.
I think that there's a whole orchestration. There's a team of people that are working on this scam, and it was definitely more than what we got, because again, when you're running a good scam, the last thing you're going to do is tell you, it's just like going to a magic show. They're not going to tell you how they did the trick. You know, the trick, that is proprietary information. You will never get it. A magician will never tell you what they're doing. And that's kind of like Carmela. If she is on it, she will take it to the grave, because it's not just tirade. There's probably 20, 30 tirades. So this is too good of a scam for them to give away. Yeah, it was a story filler. I feel like it was a story filler. When the other couples were off, this is what they put in the place of the story. And I do feel like that. Yeah,
I'm glad it's over.
Yeah, me too. I'm very disappointed in TLC when it come to Tyree and his catfish.
Yep.
Like, yeah, wrong move on TLC's part.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, so Rosbon and Amanda, I don't know, I was going to say they had sex, but you guys believe that they have been having sex since the first night. But supposedly this was the first time that they did. And then they went to see the Dracula castle or whatever, which I didn't know it was like a real building. So apparently it was a real building that you can visit. And there's this evil guy who tortured people. It was a very weird place to take someone on a date, because there was all these like artifacts of things that he used to literally torture and kill people to go look at. I was like, oh yeah, take some girl there so she thinks you're some sort of serial killer. You know, like, yeah, do that. But it didn't go well, because Rosbon got approved on his own for his tourist visa, and now he needs Amanda, well, not necessarily, he kind of wants Amanda to give him permission to come to America, because I think it would be easier for him to stay with her when he gets here than to find his own, you know, mode of where to be and what to do, because a tourist visa, he can't actually do any work, right? Is that how it works? Like, you can just go to the mall, you can go to the museum, you can look at stuff, take pictures. Yeah, so he needs her to tell her children. And then she felt like telling her children was pressure, because she's not ready for them to know that they're in a relationship. So where do we feel that Amanda's right or Rosbon's right? Like, where do you feel? Because I kind of feel like it's never right to pressure someone to involve their children in something. I feel like as a mom, you have to trust that mom's judgment of what's best for her children, because these are little children. These are not like 17, 18-year-olds. These are little children. So I feel like I would have to go on Amanda's judgment, because she's a mother and nobody knows their children like their mother. So what do you guys feel? Do you feel like she's just playing a game? She's keeping him a dirty little secret, and the kids are away for her not to get away with, you know, coming clean? Or what do you think is going on?
This bitch. like, I'm so done with her. I can't even with her. She's so stupid. She has sex with him only because the friend says that she's toxic. And then oh my God, I have so much to say about her. There's enough internet.
You think the only reason they had sex is because his friend called her toxic?
She literally said that.
I mean, she did say that right after she said we had sex, and I didn't like that she said I was hot. So you think that she literally would have went the whole trip without having sex with him until that girl said that?
Yep.
No, they
had
sex the first night. They had sex the first night, but they didn't.
I think they had sex the first night, but I think that she admitted it after it came out that the friend said she was toxic.
Yeah.
And as far as trusting her judgment as a mother, so far I don't agree with any of the things that she's done as a mother. She's so full of shit. I can't even.
I mean, she's definitely using her kids as an excuse to not have to be real and honest and come clean with what's going on. And I don't want to like say that it's an excuse, because I don't know. I'm not a mother, you know, so I can't say that I know exactly her thought process or intentions, because I can't. But I just feel like if you want to be with him, you know, like, your children would have to adapt to that. Like, okay, so as mothers, if you were deciding to date someone, do you feel like your children are a deciding factor. Do they have to like the person and agree with it 100%?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't she just introduce him to her kids and then let them decide?
Because how do you explain to your kids, I was a whore while your dad was dying?
Oh, yeah, that. I get that.
We all know that she was talking to him before her husband even passed away, that they were already planning this trip. I mean, we already know the truth. So how is she going to explain that to her children?
Yep.
And then how is she going to explain explain that to the rest of her family whenever he shows up, that they were actually in a relationship before her husband even passed away?
Yep.
Yeah, there is that. That would
And
be.
then she said that she thought she would feel bad having sex with him or having sex with someone else other than her husband, but she had no regrets. It was great. It was wonderful. And then in the same freaking breath, she had all these regrets.
Yeah.
And she was comparing him to the ex and all that shit. This girl does not know what she's doing. She has no freaking clue what she's doing. She just needs to get the hell off.
Yeah, I think that she's playing with his emotions, because I tweeted, I was like, we should have took a drink every time Amanda made Razvan cry so we could get drunk. Because I felt like
every time she touched her 12-year-old hair.
She does do that a lot. She does do that a lot. I just feel like in her mind, she's feeling out the situation, but I kind of feel like Razvan is the test dummy. You know, like he's being put through her emotional roller coaster. She's trying to figure out herself, but she's got him on the ride too, and he's not like fully buckled in, and he's like getting hurt. Like she's fully buckled in, she's safe. You know, if she decides this doesn't work for her, she can just get off the ride. He doesn't have that option. Yeah. So I kind of feel like she's using him in that extent, because he thinks that they're in a real relationship, and then by her having sex with him is giving him a really mixed signal.
Yep.
Because the same day they had sex, it looked like the same day they basically broke up.
Yep.
Like, it's always these completely mixed signals. He doesn't know what she's thinking. And he says it all the time. He's like, I don't know how she feels. She's distant. She doesn't tell me what's going on. I don't know how she feels about our relationship. He literally is with someone who he can't predict what they're thinking or going to do next. And that has to be very stressful, to be with someone who you don't know which version of them you're going to get. When he was on the phone with her on FaceTime, she said, I love you. When she gets to Romania, she doesn't even want to sleep in the same bed with them. Yep. So it's like, how do you navigate through that type of relationship?
I think that we need to set Razvan up with Kirsten.
Kirsten. Oh, Kirsten from Julio and Kirsten. Yeah. I love her.
I do too.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
So do we know that they're not together? Do we know that?
No, but fingers crossed. I think they'd be a great couple. I'd watch that.
I would too. Does anybody follow Kirsten? I don't follow her.
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Okay, send me her page. I want to follow her. Maybe we can try to set somebody up, right? I feel like Razvan is a good guy. Oh, wait. What do you guys think about him saying that coming to the U.S. was his dream or whatever, and Amanda seeing that as a red flag? How do you feel about that? Do you still feel like he's trying to get over here? Because technically he could get over here on a tourist visa anyway, but I think he wants to work over here.
He already got it.
Yeah, he did it. He did it by himself. So it ain't like he was trying to use her or anybody else. So why is she saying that's a red flag? Yeah. She's the red flag.
Yep.
Like,
but he does want to live and work over here too, though.
Yeah, but he can apply for that once he gets over here. He can apply for that. He doesn't need her.
As soon as that guy gets over here, he's gonna have American women dropping at his feet.
Yeah, that's what they were saying on Twitter. They were like, ignore this fake immigration lawyer, because she's like, oh, you can't come to America, like she works in immigration. Yeah. Like, ignore her, get over here, and you find a woman to marry you over here while you're on your tourist visa. Yep. And you can just move on without all of her drama. Because I do feel like it's all drama with her. Like, she says, I love you. She says they're okay. Then they have sex. Then she yells at him, and she's like, you're not my ex-husband. You would never be him. You would never be able to provide for me and my family. And how can she speak on that? Because we have seen his apartment over there. We've seen a car that he drives. He doesn't seem to be doing horrible, right? Like, he's doing a lot of things on his own. He dresses really nice. So the fact that she thinks that he would never be a provider is insane to me, because she doesn't know anything about him. They literally just met.
Yep.
Like, I'm trying to understand how she feels that he's such a bad guy and he's not going to be the guy that she wants. I don't think, like, but you nailed it, Kara. She doesn't know the guy that she wants. She doesn't know who she wants to be with. She was with him, and unfortunately, he passed away. And I think that she's going to be in a state in her life until she grieves properly that no one is ever going to be good enough. Jason was that person for her. And until she processes that properly, no one will ever measure up to who he was to her. And unfortunately, she's going to continue to waste people's time until she fully grasps that loss. Because I feel like she didn't grasp any of the loss. She went from marriage to relationship. She hasn't processed any of it. So now that she's with someone who's, in my opinion, is a good guy. We've seen some pretty awful people before. Pretty decent guy. She's shitting all over this guy because, oh, well, he's not good enough because Jason worked 2 jobs and he worked at a restaurant and he did all this. You haven't even given him an opportunity to get a visa to show you what he can do. You haven't given him an opportunity to prove anything.
Jason was the father of your children. So, yeah, he provided. Razvan is not, and he's not even here. It's so messed up to even expect that yet. Maybe when he gets here, he won't like your kids. Maybe your kids are rotten little brats and he doesn't want no part of it. And he wants to leave. You can't say that shit until he's there and meets it.
Yeah.
And then she said too that she thinks that they were both using each other as a emotional support because they both been he got emotionally messed up with his divorce, and she's emotionally messed up by the passing of her husband. So they're trying to use each other. I mean, she said it. So that right there told me that she didn't even want a relationship with this man. She was just trying to find someone to hang out with to see, to try to heal herself.
She said when she was in the bathroom, I think maybe, did I get in a relationship too quick? Ding, ding, ding. There it is, girl.
I mean, your husband not even passed away, and you were already in a relationship with Razvan. I mean, it's like you buried your husband before he even died.
Yep.
Absolutely. Oh, wow. You say it like that. Oh, wow.
I mean, it's the truth. It's the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing.
It's true. It's true. All right, so Jasmine and Gino, right? So Jasmine finally got to confront Dana, who is Gino's cousin. Cousin, right? I think it's cousin. He commented on Jasmine's post and questioned if she really loved him. Him as in Gino, his cousin. And he actually did say how he felt. He was like, you do a lot of things for your face. You have these hair treatments, facial treatments, all this stuff, and Gino's paying for it. And I just wanted to make sure that it was real. So here was my number one issue. If Gino's a grown man, so if he wants to spend whatever money on whatever, it doesn't matter if it's Jasmine or on anybody, he could have a cat and he could take the cat to a cat spa. Like, it doesn't matter. It's his money. He can do whatever he wants. He's an adult. So I felt like that conversation had nothing to do with Jasmine. It should have been a conversation between Gino and his cousin. Like, I don't like how people section off someone as the enemy or the bad person or the villain. And I know you're going to disagree with me because I know you're going to say, well, she is the bad person. She is the villain. But I feel like in this situation, if you don't trust your cousin's judgment, talk to your cousin.
Yeah.
Don't talk to the person that he chose because that's not the problem. She's not the issue. Because if it wasn't Jasmine, it would be another woman. It will be something else that he's doing that you don't agree with. So I felt like attacking her wasn't the right answer, but I did feel like she handled it pretty well, depending, because the way that she normally blows up and gets, she did handle it well, but she brought up a good question. What if she gets to Michigan and his family hates her? And I was like, I don't think it's a what if. I think when you get to Michigan, they're going to hate you, but this is a good question to ask. Is he going to be on his family side and isolate you and ice you out? Like, because you are going to be there all alone with no one, no support system. So I felt like that was a good question. And he really did answer it. Honestly, he was like, it depends on what the situation is, what they say. And I would try to talk to them. I wouldn't just take your side. Yeah. Now, how do you guys feel about that? Do you feel like since he's choosing to marry her and she wants to be with him, he's supposed to always back her up? Because I saw on Twitter, a lot of wives said, my husband should back me up even if I'm wrong. So how do you guys feel about that?
I mean, I kind of feel the same way, but I also feel like they both handled it really well. But I also think that it was a position that it shouldn't have happened. I wouldn't call my cousin and be like, so here she is, tell me how you feel, because I already know.
Well, yeah, it's stirring the pot. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's throwing fuel to a fire. And I think it's safe to say everyone in his family does not like her. We learned that the first time when we introduced the couple to us on the show. The family doesn't like her. They have good reason. But if Gino is spending a lot of money on Jasmine, is it Jasmine that you need to talk to? Or is it Gino? Because Gino, 53 years old, he's a grown man. He can make his own decisions. You should talk to him, because if he wants to spend his money on litter, he can go to a casino and bet $50,000 on one table. Okay, he can do whatever he wants. So you can't attack her for being on the receiving end of what he decides to do with his money. So I just didn't like how they made her the villain in the situation, because she usually is the villain in this situation. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I felt like this time her doing nothing, she's literally minding her own business, and then being confronted by his cousin and basically being called the opportunist and a gold digger was kind of unfair based on what he knows and what he's seen. He doesn't know that that's true, because even Jasmine says, she's like, I've never met this man in my life. I know nothing about him. He knows nothing about me. The only thing that he knows about our relationship is whatever Gino has told him or what he's seen on a television show. He hasn't reached out to Jasmine to get to know Jasmine. He hasn't asked any questions. He hasn't DM'd her. He's just leaving nasty comments on her page. And it's like, we're all adults, right? Yep. Like, and I feel like Gino's family, if they want to have a conversation with her, reach out. Yep. Like, don't be so nasty and judgmental. I feel like families are so quick to judge the outside person in the family instead of just going to the person in your family and saying, hey, you're with this woman who seems to be costing you a lot of money. What's up with that? That's who you need to be talking to.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, a husband should always back up his wife no matter what. No matter what. And even if she started the fight or if his family started the fight, that's a conversation that they need to have in private. They need to have that conversation in private to fix the problem. And if the family has a problem with the wife or the husband, then their family needs to go with that family member. They don't need to go after the husband or the wife because it has nothing to do with them. And if they're not paying the bills and if they're not giving you the money, then what does it matter how much money you're spending on your partner? Why does it matter? It ain't there for me.
The one.
All right.
So approaching next week's preview, when Gino says, "Are you pregnant? You look pregnant." Come on, dude! You just ejaculated for the first time yesterday. Come on, unless it's Dane's.
It could be.
Wait, I don't think she's pregnant, right? I don't think she can.
No, she's not.
Just the freaking comment.
Well, first of all, don't ask a woman if she's pregnant. Like, that's like being a man 101. There's like 3 questions you don't ask a woman. Are you pregnant? Right at the top. The next one, have you gained weight? Don't do that. Like, there's like questions you don't, unless you're trying to lose a tooth. You know, you don't ask a woman something like that. And the fact that he thinks that she could be pregnant that quickly is ridiculous. But first of all, don't say that. Like, I don't care what the situation is. Don't tell a woman that she looks pregnant. Don't do that. Excuse me.
I agree.
So
I don't know. We still got next week them talking about that, and we still got where Jasmine, what's the word that I'm looking for in English?
Completely.
Admits that she's cheated on him with Dane.
Yeah.
I mean, but I felt like she already did admit that.
Well,
At least that's what I got from
there's still like a big fight. There's a huge fight still coming.
Yep.
Well, I would like to see how this goes, because the way their relationship is going, I don't see how it's going to last, especially once she gets here. Things are going to get even more complicated because his family and everyone is going to be so much closer and accessible to their relationship. It's easier because she's all the way in Panama and they can't get to her. They can only see her on TV or see her on social media. with her being right there accessible to everybody, I think it's going to get more complicated and more difficult to navigate. And I feel like Gino's family is going to be very open with how they feel about her. And Jasmine can't constrain herself all the time, because we've watched her for 2 seasons now, and we know that her self-constraint is very low. So the fact that she didn't snap on Dana on this episode, I applauded her. That is what we call progress.
Yep.
She is doing well. Like when Kimberly stopped throwing drinks at Usman, that's what we call progress, right? Like we usually saw milkshake, drinks, what. Eventually she just was like, forget you, yo, and just walked away. I was like, see, that's progress. Yep. Nothing flew across the room. So I'm happy for Jasmine for that, for keeping her cool, because I felt like she was the one to blow up. But maybe that was the therapy. Remember that Gino said that was the issue? He was really kind of scared to talk to her because she would blow up. Maybe therapy really did work, right?
Or maybe they gave her really good drugs. Who knows?
Yeah, but we know Jasmine. We know Jasmine. She's holding it in. She's going to wait until the right moment to flip a switch. So
yeah, and it's going to be scary for Gino. It's going to be scary. So Statler did a Valentine's Day scavenger hunt. We kind of saw the beginning of it last week, and she hid some things around. It went really well, and Statler and Dempsey did say I love you to each other afterward, which I thought was really nice. And then Statler ruined it by saying, well, since we're saying we love each other, I'm gonna be not renewing my lease and I should move in. And I really felt like Dempsey did the right thing by saying no. Like, I feel like we're at a place right now where we're getting to know each other, and she does love her. They do get along, but I feel like her suggestion of getting a place outside of her own and they could see each other is the normal, logical thing to do. That was a normal, logical answer to that request. And I think Statler was taken back by, which I was kind of surprised. But we have to remember, she's explained to us all of her past relationships and all of the things that she's done and how she rushes. And then she had admitted that she was speaking to her ex, the one from London, and she was supposed to, well, we knew this already, but Dempsey didn't. She was supposed to pick her up from the airport, and they were going to go to a hotel for closure.
Yeah.
What the actual hell?
Sure.
While she was going to try and get Dempsey to let her live with her, she was going to pit stop off, go to the hotel with her ex. This is crazy. So the fact that Dempsey knows this, I think she has all of the information she needs to run away, you know, to keep her away. And I think this relationship, even if they were living separately, it's not going to work. You know, I feel like Statler is so unstable in being monogamous, right?
I feel like the only mistake Dempsey has made through all of this is letting her know where she lives.
yes,
Oh,
yes.
really? So you think
Now
that
it's gonna be hard to get rid of her now.
really?
Yep.
Even if she says you can't live here, you think she just won't leave?
She's a level 100 clinger. I think it's going to end in like really bad situation.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's not good.
See, if I was, y'all already know I would have punched her in the freaking face, okay? But she would have told me.
There it is.
If she would have told me that if I was in a relationship with her, if I was Dempsey, and she would have told me that she talked to her ex a month ago, and then they were talking about meeting up at the hotel and having one last night. Yep. Do I need to tell you guys what I would do? I don't think so.
Nope.
Well, I don't understand. Well, I mean, she was like, well, I don't want to lie to you. And I was like, well, you kind of did, because if she wouldn't have asked you, you wouldn't have said anything. Because she's like, well, I'm just going to tell you because I don't want to lie. I was like, well, you should have told her that before you arrived, you were in communication with your ex. I feel like that's pertinent information to make a good decision, because she didn't know. I guarantee you she wouldn't have hosted you in her home and did the things that she did with you and slept with you knowing that you were in communication with your ex. And not just in communication, you guys planned to have sex. That's what apparently that's what they call
closure
now, right?
Yep.
Closure.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. That's insane. And I feel like unless this is going to be an open relationship, this would never, ever work. And I think Dempsey is not looking for that. She's looking for a stable relationship. Oh, so I followed Statler on Instagram, and Statler swears that in lesbian culture, it's very, very normal for two women to move in together really, really soon. Because she was on her story, and she's like, why do you guys think this is weird? This is so normal. Like, they said it's called, like, U-hauling, where you literally, like, meet the person, and then, like, a week later, you come over with a U-haul and you move in. Because she was like, this is normal in lesbian culture. Where have you guys been? And I was like, well, how often does it work? Because moving in with somebody that you don't know, like, sharing, like, a hotel room for, like, a night or two with somebody, like a coworker or something, that tries me beyond all patience in my body. I can't be around people that I don't particularly like. Yes, pricks. She called it U-hauling. Oh, lesbian U-haul. Yeah, I was watching her story, and I was like, so this is a thing? And then she started posting, like, all these TikToks where people were validating that this is really a thing. And they're like, oh yeah, me and my girlfriend been together for like a year, but we moved in, like, we met on a Wednesday, we moved in on a Monday. And they were like, and I'm like, this is insanity. Like, I can't imagine how any of this is healthy, because you're literally moving in with a stranger, and at the point you're getting to know them, you live together. So everything that happens is going to turn into a fight, right? Like, I can't imagine.
I have a lot of lesbian friends. Some of them live together, some of them don't, but it didn't happen overnight for any of them.
See,
they all had normal relationships.
You have stable friends who are logical.
Yeah.
See, I think Statler is under the impression that people do this. People don't do this, Statler. No. Even maybe your friends do, but again, your friends might be more like you than everyone else. You know, I think that it's not a smart move to move in with anyone. And I think 90 Day Fiance is a good show for that, because sometimes they only have 90 days after they meet each other to make it happen. And we've seen how it can go all types to hell. I mean, look at Colt and Larissa. We saw it go all types to hell in those short little 90 days. It's just never going to be that. And I think that in my mind, Statler will never be able to commit to anyone. So why does she want to commit to someone so bad when she's basically said that she goes out and she has sex and she does whatever she wants? Just keep doing that. No one gets hurt, and then you don't have to worry about lying to anyone because you're just doing what you said you're going to do.
But also, why are they on 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days? Before the 90 days implies there's going to be an engagement.
Right.
Right? Literally, she's doing a scavenger hunt trying to move in with the girl, and she says, I hope she doesn't propose because that would be too soon. So why are you even on the freaking show?
That's true. That's true. And she didn't
exactly. And then
or anything.
Yeah. And we've done seen a freaking catfish. I mean, this season, I mean, no engagements. You know, the only thing we've seen is a promise ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. This season it's changed a lot from what we're used to.
Yeah.
With before the 90 days. You're right. And I don't know if that's a tone for all of the shows, like all of them. Because remember, we got Ed and Liz on Happily Ever After, and that was a really change of scenery because they weren't engaged. Okay, they weren't trying to get married. Neither of them needed a green card. You know, we're getting the shift in the narrative of what the shows used to be. And I wonder if this is something that we're going to see more and more in the future.
I don't know. I don't love it.
I don't know. This season is not, I mean, it's been a good season, but it's not the 90 days that I'm used to.
Right. I feel the same way. I do. I feel the same way because it's definitely, it's outside of the narrative that I'm used to. Okay, so David and Sheila. Okay, so I know that we've had some speculations or issues with Sheila and we were waiting on it. So apparently her mom fell from a second-story stairway in their home, and they hired a contractor to come and look at the home to determine what needed to be fixed. And in their money, it came to like $100,000, but in US dollars, it came to $1,725, which in my opinion, that's an amazing deal, right?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, get out. It cost me like 14 grand for a roof on a house before. So you mean to tell me you are going to repair all of these issues in this house? It was a steal. I would have gotten my credit card into that guy's hand so fast. Yep. You wouldn't even, I was like, good Lord. But
yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't, because.
Okay. So yeah, let's talk about his responsibility in this situation. Why would it be 100% David's responsibility to pay for everything? Because even he brought up in the episode, he was like, well, what if you were to get a job and we did this together? Okay. And she didn't seem interested.
First of all, I don't feel like, aside from it not being David's responsibility, I don't think that that is even the legit price, because she said, when he said he makes $800 a week, she says, $800, you could have a condo here. Then when what's his face, Jupiter, the contractor, is like, where's he from? And he said, America. He's all, ha, ha, ha. Then it was $1,725. I think it was like maybe $500 at best.
Oh, so you think this is like a team effort scam? Interesting.
Well, the cleaners, because he's from America.
That is a weird question.
That threw up some red flags real quick.
Yep.
So asking him where he was from, because I mean, yeah, I've had contractors at my house. No one has ever asked me where I originated. That is a weird question to ask someone. And when I got a red flag when David told Amy he made $800 a week, and Sheila's reaction, her eyes lit up and she smiled. Yes, that her reaction, I didn't like that reaction, because I was like, not $1 of that $800 a week belongs to you. So I didn't like your reaction to that. And she's like, oh, that's a lot of money. For $800, you can have a condo. So she was like, well, whatever I need from him, I'm going to get, because this is a lot of money. But they don't understand the conversion rate of in their country to America, because $800 a week, you can still struggle a lot making $800 a week, especially depending on the state you live in, because the cost of living by states is astronomically different depending on where you are. So $800 a week in, maybe in a northern state, like say Michigan, it's not bad. $800 a week in California, you might be living in your car. If you don't get a second job,
$800 a week in Oregon isn't going to get you shit.
$800 a week in Georgia, where I'm from, it ain't gonna get you nothing.
Yep.
I think that she's under the impression that he has infinite money, and from watching the show, a lot of people feel that way. I think it's from the movies, when they see American culture and they see the movies that are filmed in Hollywood or wherever they film the movies, and how the Americans are living. Because when you put on a movie, people, they go into this huge house, they're driving this nice car, no backstory of how any of that wealth came about. The movie just kind of starts there, and then it goes. And no one, I think a lot of people who haven't been to America, they're not familiar with our culture or anything. They believe that that's just the way of life over here. And oh wait, same with rent in Vancouver. It's $2,000 if more for rent. Oh my God.
Here in Oregon, you're lucky if you can find something for $3,000 or less a month.
$3,000 for rent? Yep. That is insanity. I would just buy.
It's absurd.
And that's what I'm trying to, I want Sheila to understand, because David struggles. And I don't think she realized that, because he was like, I have to work 2 jobs to make $800 a week. So he might be making at one job $400 a week, right? Like he's doing 2 different jobs to make that income. And where he lives, where does he live? Is he in Oregon?
Who? David?
David.
I don't think so.
I can't remember.
I can't remember where he's from.
Hold on, I have it. I'll tell you.
Because I think he would need to go over his finances with her, right? Like explain to her how much he lives, how much it costs for where he lives, explain to her how much it costs for his car, explain to her how much car insurance. Oh, he's from Nebraska. He's from Nebraska.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So what is the cost of living like there? Is it?
I don't know. I'm going to look.
Okay. Yeah, because I was like, maybe it's good there. Because I was in Ohio, and Ohio, the cost of living was really low. Because when I moved to Florida, it was like 3 times higher. So it was a little bit of a culture shock for me, because I was like, oh, wow, I'm giving you so much more money for the exact same thing that I wouldn't give you so much money for. But it just depends. So I feel like in order for her to fully understand what that money is, he would have to do like a breakdown. Like, this is how much I'm responsible for on a monthly basis. This is how much I send you. You know, this is what's left, if anything, for her to really understand. But do you guys feel like the money situation this early in the relationship is a red flag? Do you feel like the way that she's expecting so much from him right now is a red flag?
Yes, and I think by her wanting him to redo the whole house is a huge red flag. She should
So
not. She should not have even asked him to even. No.
Nebraska, the cost of living is 8% lower than the national average. Housing is 17% lower than the national average, and utilities are 12% lower than the national average.
He lives.
So it's a lot cheaper to live in Nebraska.
So he's able to make his money stretch a lot easier than if he lived in another state, like Oregon, you said. So yeah, good for him, because he has sent her money before. And I think that might be why she has the idea that he just has all this money stashed away. Yeah. Because when you send someone money, like a large amount of money, and it's hard to say large amount, because when it converts over to their money, we might send $200 or $300, but to them, we just send them like $1,000. So I think that sometimes makes it seem like, oh, wow, they just have so much money they don't need, because if you could give it to me, you didn't even need it, you know, and then they just expect more and more. But he made it seem like she wasn't very demanding of asking for money. So we were always wondering, was that really true? Because, you know, people are usually a little less honest
Where are they at?
About how much they're sending.
They're in the Philippines, right?
Yes.
And two, is what another red flag came up for me is when she said that she didn't like how her mom died poor, that she don't want to be poor. She wants a better life for her and her son.
Yep.
So that there is a big red flag too.
Well, I mean, she said that, but when he asked if she could get a job and help pay for it, she was like, "We'll talk about it."
Yeah,
okay,
what there
I was like,
talk about? I mean,
right, because I was like, you guys walked into this bar and I counted like 4 different people working, because she's like, I just can't find a job after. Yeah. I was like, I get that jobs have been scarce after the pandemic. I do get it, but I do feel like if you want a job bad enough, you can find one. Because I know people who look for jobs and then they hear about an opportunity. They're like, well, I don't want to work there, or I don't want to do that. They could get a job, they just don't want to do certain types of jobs. So when she said, I don't want to die poor, like my mom, I was like, well, what are you doing to prevent that? Because I was like, David isn't a guarantee that you won't be poor. Like, I didn't like that she was looking at him as he was her ticket. I didn't like that, because he's interested in being with her and having an equal partner. Because even he said, like, are you going to work and help and you contribute? We could do this together. Why does it all have to be on me? And I agree with that 100%. He's not going to live in the house. Why does he have to contribute 100%? And he never said he wasn't going to contribute part. He just wants to know that he doesn't have to contribute all. And I think that that's more than fair. I mean, if he gave her $500, that's more than generous, in my opinion.
Okay, so the conversion rate in the Philippines, $800 American dollars, is $45,512. So in her mind, it would only take, because if it was $100,000 to fix everything, that's only 2 weeks' pay. That's fine. That's what she's thinking.
Oh, yeah, I see. So she kind of looks at it as, you probably already have that in the bank.
Yep.
It's not even something that would hurt to give out. Exactly. And the way that she just said, like, well, when are you going to give me the money or whatever? I was just like, I don't know. She just rubbed me the wrong way the whole episode. And I know that she's went through something very traumatizing. So I definitely don't like to pass judgment on anyone who's going through something very, very difficult, because they're probably acting out of character. Because when something traumatic like that happens to you, you are not you for a while. Okay, so I didn't want to like judge her on that, but I just felt like she was making the money such a huge deal. Like, well, when are you going to give me the money? And how are you going to get it to me? And it was the way she asked for his salary and the reaction. I was just like, ooh, I don't like it.
One thing I have to say about it though. The house that I live in is the same house my mother passed away in. My mom passed away of natural causes. I took care of her, blah, blah, blah. I have all kinds of emotional attachment to this house. Had my mom died tragically, falling to her death, I would want a different place. So if I thought that I had someone that was like, oh, let me take care of this for you, I'd be like, no, for that kind of money, we can build a condo somewhere else that's safe, that my mother didn't tragically die. That's how I
That's true. Why rebuild the house? And again, she's trying to come to America anyway.
Yeah.
So why is it, and she's going to take John Rell with her, right? So like, why would it be so important to rebuild that house just for her dad, I guess?
Yeah. But if you
I mean,
build you a condo for $800.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand. I understand on one part where she's coming from, because she doesn't want no one else to get hurt in the home.
Mm-hmm.
But she has already said a couple of times that she don't even want to be in the home because of her mom passing away. So why are you wanting to fix it up if you're not even wanting to be there?
Yep.
Yeah, that was my first question. Because I was like, you're not staying. John Rell's not staying. Your dad will be the only one there. Just put him, like she said, in a condo.
Yeah.
Just leave that place altogether. You know, sometimes when you have a house and it's too far gone, I've seen it happen in different neighborhoods. They flatten their house and start over.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you don't keep putting money into an issue, flatten it, and start over fresh with a new foundation. And it's gonna make you more money, because a lot of people flip these places anyway. You're gonna save money in the long run. Your profit will be higher. So I just didn't understand. And another thing, I don't want to sound insensitive, but why was the level of importance to fix the house so high now? Because they have been living like that for so long. Because even the contractor said this house has been in bad shape for a long time.
But also the contractor said 3 or 4 times, she's very lucky. She's very lucky.
Yeah,
she's lucky.
Yeah, he did say that.
Yeah.
He did.
So he's thinking, money, money, money. I'm going to up this because this guy's from America and he's going to pay whatever I say.
Yeah, because he can easily say, oh, well, the price went up in this, and, you know, it's going to be more money or whatever. And how is he going to know? He won't know.
Well, yeah, the contractor, see, when I need work done on my house, I do written estimates. Like, I want to see what you're buying, how much it costs, how much labor. Like, I need itemized. I need to know what I'm giving you money for. Because he was like, oh, well, we need all this stuff. Nothing written down, and then just ballpark figure out of his head. Who does this? I don't know. I've never been to the Philippines. Maybe this is how they do things there. But if I'm going to give you thousands and thousands of dollars to do work on my home, I want to know what parts you're buying, what materials, the labor. I want to know what I'm getting, so I know that I'm getting a good deal. But
are you insured? Are you bonded?
Yes.
I have so many. Yeah.
There's no chance I would just hand somebody thousands of dollars off of a verbal contract. Like, that is literally every episode of Judge Judy, right? Literally every episode, somebody didn't write down a contract and now they're suing somebody because they didn't actually do the work. Like, that's literally how that happens.
Yep. But I'm also an insurance agent, so that's the first thing that comes to my mind is that house should have been condemned a long time ago. I'd never insure it.
Oh, right. You are an insurance agent, right? Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and say that insurance isn't like legal. Like, not legal, but like legally required. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Because, you know, here you buy a house, it's a legal requirement. You got to put insurance on that house. That's not even an option. I'm going to say over there, there's no legal requirement, because if they had insurance after that, was it a typhoon? What happened to or was it a fire?
It was a typhoon.
It was a typhoon and a fire.
Both of them.
Oh, yeah.
Insurance would have did repairs for both if that was a legal requirement, because I'm pretty sure if you live in the Philippines, that's just like Florida having hurricane insurance. Like, I'm pretty sure they get that so frequently, you have to.
Haven't we learned from Brandon and Mary that because Mary's from the Philippines, that you can build a brand new house for very little money?
Yeah, $20,000. $20,000 gets you a very decent home built, which I'm jealous. because I can't even get a bathroom updated for $20,000. So I'm jealous. Like, if I want to put in a new sink and a new toilet, we're talking 30 grand, right? Don't even talk about a new kitchen. That's like 50 grand. Like, at this point, so I'm kind of jealous.
Well, 50 grand if you want the basic, but if you extra, then you're gonna be on up in the 100,000. So.
Well, yeah, because I want my appliances to be smart. I want them to be smart. So yeah, I already know it's not gonna be good for me. It's basically, somebody told me once, they said, instead of updating your kitchen, just buy a whole new house with the kitchen you want. Somebody told me that that's actually the more smart financial move to go, because they said you're going to pay about 35 to 40% of your home's value in redoing the kitchen. And I think it's true, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like insurance is required in the Philippines, but that's only if you have a mortgage, which makes sense. But I doubt that they have a mortgage.
I would assume people don't have mortgages, because if it only costs $20,000 to build a home, you just kind of build it yourself, right? I kind of feel like that's the way it gets done.
But I mean, at that, wouldn't you, if you were building, 4 pieces of plywood, wouldn't you put insurance on it just in case you had a typhoon?
I'm an insurance on everything person. Like, when I go to the jewelry store and I buy a ring, I buy insurance on the ring, because I was like, I'll probably lose this ring. Yeah. So, like, I'm an insurance on everything. I have insurance on my parents. I have insurance on me. Like, I'm everything. Cars, house. What else do I like? You name.
Don't waste your money on the insurance on the jewelry. Insure it through your homeowner's insurance. It's much cheaper and better coverage.
Yeah, but what if I lose it outside the house? Does it still work?
Yeah.
Oh, because I thought it had to be like stolen out of my house.
There's umbrella policies to cover it.
Okay. Because I buy insurance on everything because I'm just paranoid. Like, I'm scared that I'm not going to be covered.
To have insurance on everything these days.
Your phone, you need to buy that through the phone company. We don't give a shit about it.
I have it on my phone because, let me tell you a story real quick. So I went to the movies and I watched the movie, and then I got up and left and went home. My phone was still in the seat at the movie theater. So yeah, I was like, I gotta have insurance on everything because I'm a moron, right? Like, I was like, then I didn't realize that I didn't have the phone. I was literally at home about to take a shower, and I'm like, where's my phone? I don't know where my phone is. It was literally at the seat at the movie theater. The funny part, I called the movie theater and they had it. Somebody turned it in. I actually got my phone back, but after that, I got insurance on my phone because I was like, I can't be leaving stuff like that.
Yep.
All right, so I want to talk about Christian and Cleo because we got the confrontation. First of all, I really, really love how Cleo let Christian have it tonight on the episode, because every time he tried to BS her, she came right back, because he was like, well, I didn't lie. She's like, well, you kind of did. And he's like, well, I don't want you to be mad. Well, I kind of am. Well, I don't. And I was just like, I love how she's standing her ground, and she's saying, look, this is what you did. This is what we did. This is what you said, and your actions were the opposite, and I'm trying to figure out why you lied. And I just loved how real she was about it, because I know she was really nervous about confronting him. She had her friend come over for emotional support, and Christian did the textbook narcissist move. He's like, well, there can't be another clearer thinking woman in the room, because I can't manipulate this woman if there's another woman here that doesn't find me attractive. Because, a narcissist can't be surrounded by someone who's not interested in them, because that person will see right through what you're doing, because they have no interest in you at all. They will see all the bullshit that you're pulling, and they will call you out. So he had to have her friend removed from the room to try to talk in circles around what he did and try to pretend like he's not a douchebag, which he is.
Yep.
But unfortunately, he still was able to get Cleo to kind of move forward. Like, she's like, I'm going to give you the benefit of a doubt. We're going to move forward. I wish he would have just ended it right then and there, because honestly, he's not worth her time. She's so much better than this guy, right? Like, I feel like he is literally a textbook frat boy a-hole. Everything about him. And the way that he got so defensive showed me exactly who he was. Because I was like, if somebody accuses you of something you didn't do, you can just say, I didn't do it, or you get defensive and you can start getting mad and start throwing your arms around and putting your hand. That shows me that you're looking for ways to get out of something that you did. And instead of him just saying, yeah, I did it, I'm sorry, he went every avenue possible to try to make it seem like he didn't do anything wrong. And that's so narcissist, right? Like, narcissism at its best. It's like so textbook. And I was like, Cleo, just be done with this guy, right? Like, there's no purpose for you to continue with someone who sleeps with you and then the next day pretends like you didn't when there were cameras in the room.
All I know is I think DeeDee and I both need to punch him in the face.
Yep. And you know how the saying goes, the guilty dog barks first.
Yes,
and he
I love
started
that.
barking real fast.
Yep.
So
He was so fidgety, and he couldn't deal with two women calling him out for his BS. He couldn't deal with it because you know how narcissists are. They can't be ganged up on because they need that space and time to manipulate. They can only manipulate one person at a time, right? I feel like that's how they can only, you know, play mind games with one person at a time. And then with the second woman there, who already finds him to be an ugly a-hole anyway, she wasn't, everything he said was in. She was just like, you're a liar, you're disgusting, you hurt my friend, I hate you. Basically, she was just like, don't even, so he was like, well, she has to go. I'm never gonna get out of this with her in the room. There's no chance I'm gonna win this argument. So he had to get rid of her. But I still feel like at this point, what are you gonna do to come back from this?
But I was
like
glad that Cleo felt the need to apologize.
yes, why?
That's textbook manipulation, right? It's manipulation.
He never said sorry. She apologized like 3 times.
And he's never gonna say sorry. That's a narcissist.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything wrong. He's like, oh, well, I thought that you didn't, because they spoke after they were intimate and said that they were gonna talk about it the next day because you do interviews with the production. They said we're gonna talk about it. He thought between that conversation and when he woke up the next day, she didn't feel comfortable talking about them being, which is complete BS, a complete lie. He manipulated her into thinking that that was true. Then a manipulated apology out of her for doing absolutely nothing wrong. She did nothing wrong because she attacked him, but everything that she said in those text messages was warranted. If you ask me, she said that he was psychotic behavior, which I agree with. He was a gaslighter, which I agree with. Like everything that she called him, I agreed with everything. I was like, you don't need to apologize for calling somebody by their name.
Yep.
Right? Everything that she said was his name. You never apologize for that.
Yep. I agree. But her friend had the best euphemism when she said, I'm afraid this is a castle in the sand that's going to collapse.
Yep.
I was, that's awesome. That's exactly what's happening. Don't let him just keep him out.
Oh, Donna said that she said that her autism makes her feel a need to apologize. So it's
not, but still, when she apologized, he should have said, you don't need to be sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, that's what a normal, logical person who isn't a douchebag would say.
Yeah.
But in his mind, he's never done anything wrong.
Yep.
In his mind, he was okay lying to the production. He was okay with what he did. He literally had a conversation with her and said they were going to tell everyone in the interviews or whatever, and then woke up the next morning and decided, I don't want to talk about it on TV, what I did. I'm going to be embarrassed. And then he decided that, which is fine. You have that right. As a person, that's his right. But you don't have to make her seem like she had anything to do with your second thoughts or your embarrassment. I just don't like the emotional abuse that he's putting on her because she's going through a lot. Right. As a trans woman, she has to go through rejection way more than other people do. Okay, like she doesn't know if somebody really loves her or if it's a fetish or if they're trying to hurt her. There's things that she goes through in her life that other people don't have to do, and I feel like he's making it worse.
Yeah, I agree.
And if he didn't feel comfortable about talking to production, he should have been like, look, I know we talked about talking and telling the production that we were intimate, but you know what? I don't feel comfortable at this moment. Instead of just throwing her under the bus like that, like, I mean, we seen it. I mean, he said they did not do anything. They were not intimate.
He said, well, he said that they covered a base or two.
Yeah.
And
but he wasn't talking about no intimacy.
The last time I talked that way, I was like in the 9th grade.
Right.
First of all, who says that anymore as an adult?
Yep.
We don't talk that way. Either you had sex or you didn't. Because he's like, oh, well, because that's how I know that he's not okay with it. He's not okay, because if you were okay with it, any type of intimacy is okay, because you're okay with it. And he just needs to be real and just say, look, I thought I was going to be okay with it, and I'm not, and I'm sorry, but it's not going to work. Stop lying. And then I don't like how he's manipulating her into thinking she did something wrong. And she didn't do anything wrong. She's been 100% open and honest this whole time. He's the one that has an issue, and then he's making her feel like shit, and she's sitting in the car crying, questioning herself, when she literally was honest with this douche the whole time. Like, it just makes me so angry, because the fact that she opened herself up as an autistic woman, first of all, and a trans woman, it takes a lot more for her to put herself out there than it does for everybody else. Absolutely. Way more.
Yeah.
Like, it is very difficult for her to even be social in general, but she put herself out there and vulnerable to the world on TV and to this man, and she's getting screwed over in every aspect of it. And I just hate it. I feel like this is going to really emotionally scar her, because in her life and in her condition, this might make her not want to do this again, not want to trust somebody again.
Absolutely.
Well, she said that she's not going to be able to emotionally handle it if something happens with their relationship. I mean, not only the autism, she has anxiety, she has panic attacks. I mean, there's like a lot of things, you know, and him being a douchebag like he is not helping the situation. He's just making it worse on her.
Yeah.
And then she was sitting there trying to focus and trying to wrap her mind around what he was saying so she could accept what he was saying and understand what he was saying. He just got defenseless, and he just started going off at her. So how is that supposed to help her even make a rational decision or talk about the situation when she don't even understand it herself?
Yeah.
I can't. I want her to rid him from her life. Like, just move on. She's way too good for this, guys. A Portuguese princess says that she read that Cleo's a paid actress.
I did read that.
Really? Somebody send me that to my messages so I can read. I haven't heard that, but I would love to know if that's true, because wouldn't she be our first trans cast member? I wonder. Wait, no.
Trans cast member? No, Gabe was.
Gabe. Right. Well, Gabe wasn't a paid actor.
No.
I don't know. So I don't know. Send me that. I want to read. I want to get a little more insight on that, because I saw talk of it online, but I didn't see any thing that I thought was substance about it. So I mean, I don't know if that changes the situation, though. If she was an actor or not, I don't know if it changes the way he's acting. I'm still pissed. Like, even if it's not real, I'm still pissed. I just don't think that people should be treated that way.
Exactly. I think him and Danielle need to hook up. I think they would make a really good couple. Two narcissists together. That would be a really...
Danielle and Johan Danielle?
Yeah. The Danielle is with Johan. Danielle and him need to hook up. Yeah. I think that would be a really
awesome.
Yeah.
That would be a dumpster.
Two narcissists together? Yeah, I would watch that.
That would be a good make your match or meet your match type relationship, because we do see that Johan gives in to Danielle a lot, and I feel like Christian would never give in. He would never apologize, and he would never say he was wrong. So yeah, and Danielle is the same way. She was never wrong. She did everything right. She's never been the problem. I would love to see that.
So Cleo did commercials.
Oh, so she's done acting commercials?
Yeah, so she's not like a paid actress to be on 90 Days.
But she's done acting in the past. Okay, that makes sense. Because I felt like a lot of her story was very genuine.
Yeah.
I felt it was very genuine. So when I saw that, I was like, I don't really feel that is true. I feel like a lot of what she's saying is real. And I never thought for a second that she wasn't telling the truth about, her anxiety and her autism. Or I never felt that way. So I was just curious about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so did we cover everybody? I think we did, right?
Yes.
I think so.
We didn't get any Nicola and Misha this week. and somebody else. I couldn't remember either earlier. Who was it?
Riley and Violet.
Riley and Violet.
Yeah.
Violet, right. So, tomorrow night. Oh, so tonight after the show ended, there was a preview of The Last Resort.
See, and I'm not watching any of that because I'm going into it raw.
So wait,
Yeah.
you're not gonna watch?
No,
I'm gonna
watching it.
wait till tomorrow.
But till tomorrow. So wait, okay, so good. I'm not gonna watch it either.
Yeah.
I want us all to, so we can talk about it tomorrow fresh.
Yes, I'm
So
not watching any previews. I don't want to know what's coming up. I don't want to know what.
Even on my Instagram, I'm seeing it on my feed. I just swipe up. I don't want to know. I don't.
So that will be on full tomorrow for 2 hours. Oh, for anyone who doesn't know, The Other Way is only 1 hour tomorrow night. And then it's a 2 hour from 9 to 11.
So what are we doing? Are we podcasting on The Other Way immediately afterwards, or are we gonna roll over into Tuesday? What are we doing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true because we can't watch it and podcast it at the same time. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, maybe we will do shit. Okay, I'm thinking. What do you guys want to do?
Whatever's easier for you guys. I mean, it doesn't matter.
If it's going off at 11 tomorrow, it might be too late to podcast after anyway, right? So how about we do The Other Way tomorrow?
Okay.
And maybe we can do the podcast from 9 to 10, and then we'll end the podcast at 10, and then we'll watch The Last Resort, and then we'll podcast at the following night.
Okay.
Does that work for you guys?
Yeah.
My schedule's open, so
Okay.
you know that. Just let me.
Okay, perfect. We'll do that. And if anything changes, just text me and we can figure it out. But yeah, I didn't even realize that. I was like, yeah, we can't do them both. We can't do one and watch one at the same time. So yeah, we'll react to The Last Resort not tomorrow, Tuesday. So we'll do The Other Way tomorrow, which probably will be short because we're only getting an hour.
Yeah.
So it's probably not going to be a huge long deal like it was tonight. So, and then we'll jump into The Last Resort. I want to keep calling it couples therapy. Every time I try to say it, couples therapy is what keeps trying to come out of my mouth, and I have no idea why.
It's because when we first heard about it, they were saying it was like everybody's going to couples therapy. So it went out there for the first couple of weeks.
That's why, because I'm like, why do I keep saying that? That's not what it's called. But
I still say it.
Yeah, when
I keep
the pictures surfaced, they said it was couples therapy. That's why. Okay. All right. So we're going to do that tomorrow. Thanks to everybody who joined us for this episode tonight. Thank you for my co-hosts, Kara and DeeDee, for joining me. And we will see you guys tomorrow for The Other Way. Oh, make sure you're following me at George Mossey on all social media platforms, georgemossey.com, and anywhere you get your podcast, type in The George Mossey Show. That's on Amazon Music, Apple Music, Spotify, all of those. And we'll talk to all of you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.